One of the things that we can check is to see if there's an air leak. These are mainly sealed units. If you look at the top of this cap, we have inside here, if you can get a close-up of that, we have a little rubber O-ring. This red button is not a primer, it's an air relief, and so that little O-ring, of course, keeps the air out. To check to see if this is torn, what I do is I'll put my finger over the hose barb, like so, take a little bit of water, and pour it inside. As you can see, if there was a problem with the O-ring, it would be dripping out. But that is a good part, so we're okay there. I have a test bench here, and I'd like to go over some of the things with a real live working unit. First, I'm going to show you again how to prime. You're going to hold your jug in this position here, press your air relief, and give it just a little squeeze, and you're going to see the fertilizer go in. You want to make sure you get this at least half to 3/4 of the way full. So once we get to that point, you let go of the red button. Of course, this goes back into the ground, and you're good to go. With this ProFeeder here, we actually have some guts that are about 4 years old, and they're just wore out. So this is going to be good because we're going to show you some of the things to look for if your unit is wore out. I'm going to go ahead and turn on this pump, and we're going to have water go through this ProFeeder. Let me show you. Okay. As this is going through, when you turn on your sprinkling system, you can actually hold the unit like so. This fertilizer should actually start to move down, but as you can see, it's coming out the top. So we have a reverse situation here. We actually have an O-ring that is allowing water to bypass and come through into the sight glass. So instead of this tube being completely full and eventually emptying into the sight glass, it has actually come the wrong way. Now, as you can see, I have bubbles coming up in here. Now this is designed to open a cavity to pull the fertilizer into the pump. When that O-ring is split or torn, it's not going to allow that suction, so now you're going to have air and water escape. So you can actually see that there's going to be some bubbles, and this will eventually fill up with water and eventually go back into the jug. And now product is going to draw from the bottom of this container all the way back into the sight glass. That's why we like to have the prime at least 3/4, half to 3/4 of the way full to compensate for all the air that we're sucking in. As you can see, it's starting to draw the fertilizer now, and my prime level has actually gone down a little bit. So again, it's functioning properly and working great. There's your marker indications. So moving forward. You notice we still have some air bubbles here and here in the tube. Completely normal. The product is still going to continue to move. If you look very closely, you can actually see a little stream of fertilizer underneath that air bubble. So there is still product that is actually flowing in this hose, even though it looks like it's stopped from that air bubble. Up here is where you need to, this is where you always need to examine, is here. Again, you're either going to look for the IV looking drips, or you're going to look for it to come down the side of the sight glass. Please look for both of those to indicate whether or not your ProFeeder is working. I want to thank you for your support, and thank you for buying our product.